Hello YouTube, I'm Juhan Rodrik and at the moment I'm doing one of my small artwork series, my art collection video about artworks I have made, painted and drawn over the years. And these small artworks like this that come out of my sketchbook have been exhibited nowhere except online at the moment, and this one is also online. I made a drawing like this, and it's made about 8 years ago. I drew it, and now I started using my and exhibiting my sketchbook artworks and my small artworks online. And these sketchbook artworks I'm actually pretty pleased with a little bit digital editing, and I made this gun drawing into a few different items. And I like sometimes do target practice, and I'm a bit into guns, and so I also do gun drawings, and I have done many gun drawings and gun featuring artworks that all over my art career, that I have been drawing something. And here's one more, my personal favorite gun, that is, and a drawing too, and a little bit I edited it into a different form, and I kinda like the original drawing also. The good thing is I can store a lot of these small artworks, and I exhibit when I do exhibitions. Then I mostly put up bigger artworks on the walls, and these are like pretty small, like that's my hand, and it's an about an exactly A4 size. Sketchbooks are coming also A4 and A3 and A5 and some odd formats, but usually they have the same format as the office paper. But it's pretty easy to store these small artworks, and that's why I have made quite a lot of them. If I let my imagination rip, then and make it very big canvases, then I would pretty quickly clog up my storage facility and my studio. And with smaller artworks, I don't bump into this problem too quickly, so I can draw whatever comes into my mind. And at the moment here I'm starting with my gun drawings, and this is also online. Well, my online artworks are on the links below the video, so you can have a better look down there in the description. And here's one of my gun drawings, and my personal favorite gun is small AK pistol. And here's one of my quick revolver drawings, and I did these quite long ago, these drawings, and now I scanned them in and digitalized them, and I edited them into many different artworks and made remixes on them. So on the below the video on the links you can see my online gallery. And then I have many different, like that one is made in 2008. I have signed it with my short name version, my nickname Juku, which I used earlier, and I signed it in 08, so 2008 was when I made this one, and I figured I gotta have to work with it a bit longer, but maybe add something to it. Adjust the camera a little bit. The nasty glare here. I don't like this glare. Oh, it's going worse. Now, I see a glare on camera that I don't like. Okay. That should be a little bit more true to what it is. It's actually a pretty nightmare to photograph these artworks, but they fit the scanner pretty well, and I kind of like to test my ideas and make some small artworks on my sketchbook, and it makes quite a big part of my artwork collection. And I do have some artworks of some more like pop art, more like some gun drawings, and some erotic art, and some technical art, and many different things, and that also reflects my different interests, that I'm interested in more than one thing, and I do also have more than one skill. And here's one of my gun drawing. And one of my pinup sketches, that's probably online somewhere also. I kind of like how they work out. Like I'm quite inspired with like the comic look, and sometimes I do like realistic, and sometimes I do like expressionist, and sometimes I do like pop art, and sometimes I'll mix them all up and come up with something like that. And here's one of my fictional town scene, pop art inspired drawing that I made in 2011, and I sometimes like to work with some like clothing, and do some fashion inspired things, and have my twist on it, and sometimes I mix it all together with my surrealist approaches and my pop art approach. So I come up with contraptions like this. They have nothing to do with reality. My art is purely fiction, and I like it creating something fictional, and one of my most widespread characters besides pinups are also my fish that I do. I started these fish that's called my Happy Fish series, and I have a big collection of them, and I started them as board cutout fish that I literally did such board cutout along the line of something similar and painted on the cutout, and later I started doing them on canvas, and here I started mixing it up with this is a collage that I made of newspaper, and that's called a newsfish. I used the newsprint as a background, and that's working on the subject of good and cheerful news. Like usually we hear some bad news that's prevalent, but I figured to work out some positive and some good news, and that's why I made a contraption like that. And on the same line is the next one I made. It's also a collage that I have put together in similar fashion of many small pieces of newspaper, and made a good news fish, or good news, the happy fish is here, or something in the line. And here's one of my, goes along the line of the gun artworks. It's also gun drawing a bit, and I drew a few tanks for my some sort of an artwork, and sketch was like I had a few tanks only on, and then I decided to add some expressionist abstract painting on it, and I later completely painted my drawing over to look like that, and I'm pretty pleased how it came out. And about the technical artworks, well, that's also one of my technical artworks with technical subject. Well, guns are also technical subject, and tanks and ships and boats, and what I draw. And next one is in that's actually my photograph that I painted over, and I photographed this in an abandoned Estonian or a disused, actually it's not abandoned, it's disused train station in Haapsalu. The train traffic there was cut, and now there are old steam trains and locomotives there, and it's serves like a museum, and I kind of like heavy equipment, and especially trains, and I also like ships a lot. I grew up nearby a harbor, and I was when I was small, I was always playing around the railroad or something, observing trains and the harbor work and the heavy equipment rolling around, and I still like to paint something along the line of that. And then I made a small painting of these old trains in Haapsalu that I met there. I was also climbing all over them. They are stationary there, and you can photograph them and climb on them and do whatever you want all day. And well, as long as you don't break them, but I tried not to do that. well, I didn't break anything. And it's quite a magnificent to see them there. And hopefully they don't rust away, they will be maintained also there. It serves like a railroad museum or something, and it should be taken well care of. Haven't seen this for a few years, but when I visit it next time, then I hope they're in as good shape as I saw them last time. And when I took that picture, it was about 10 years ago or something like that. And lately I was painting this picture over, and I have worked with that picture even earlier somewhere and used this motif in my earlier paintings also. And here I did a little sketch book artwork, and along the line of my small artworks like this one. I'm very pleased how this small artwork came out. I think I'll frame it up and exhibit it somewhere.